Hi, this is Amy with Friday's features of all of the wonderful sewing machines from Husqvarna, Viking, and FOV. Today I'm going to talk about the JoyOS Advisor, which is on the Husqvarna Viking line, and it's on 3 of the machines in their current line. This machine is the Designer Sapphire 85. It's the newer one in our line of Husqvarna Viking machine. Okay, and right here it shows the JoyOS Advisor. So we know this machine has this functionality, but we're going to go over and show you another sewing machine in the sewing line that also has the JoyOS Advisor. This is the Epic 95Q. As you see, it does have Joy Advisor, and with this machine though, because it's sewing only, it's only going to give you the information in the Knowledge Center for sewing. Again, I'll show you, we're going to go over to the Epic 2 and I'll show you more features within the JoyOS Advisor. This is the beautiful Designer Epic 2, one of the favorite machines in the shop for Nicole and Amy. As you can see right now, we're in embroidery mode. I'm just going to hit the home button on the top. And now it has brought me into JoyOS Advisor. So for the JoyOS Advisor, you've got the menu bar. So you've got sewing, quilting, embroidery, and then your Knowledge Center. I'm going to start with the Knowledge Center and just talk a little bit about the functionality. So if you go to the Quick Start Guide, if you're new to your machine, and then I'm going to bring this up, you have videos and diagrams within these features to teach you how to do functions. So in JoyOS Advisor, I'm going to show you right now how the Knowledge Center works and how there's videos in there for you to see how to do things like wind your bobbin. So I'm going to click the first video, and I clicked over here so that it'll go through the video. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but I just wanted to show you how step by step, it shows you how the path of the thread should go. Get it in some tension there, and then you're going to bring it down to the side where the bobbin winder is. So again, this is how you'll go through and wind your bobbin. It had the little thread cutter there, and then you'll go and hit start on your machine. So that's just a little quick video. There's multiple videos in here to help you use your machine. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the embroidery function, and you'll see here there's a scroll bar of multiple types of functions that you can do within embroidery. Down here is just your standard embroidery, but I'm going to go back to applique embroidery. This is a applique covered edge. This is the applique raw edge, reversed raw edge, and reversed cover edge. I'm going to go into one of the functions, applique covered edge, and it's going to bring up the functionality. I'm going to move it to the top so that it's easier to see. So you then would scroll through and it will tell you what you need to do to prepare, select your embroidery, and then you'll be able to go on your way and you will be able to then stitch out. So I am going to get rid of that, and this has now brought you into your screen, and it's brought you to the list of applique covered edge designs that are already on your Epic 2. Now I'm going to switch and go back home, and I'm going to look at the sewing options. In the sewing, there's different fabric types that you can select from. There are different techniques that you can pick from. I'm going to show you one thing I learned the other day. I'm going to select the woven light, and then I'm going to bring up the basic sewing techniques. There's 7 of them that come up under basic sewing techniques. For example, just making a seam or making a hem. Sewing on a button is a great technique. You should try that one out. Okay, so now I'm going to go back. So this time I'm going to choose woven medium. I'm going to click up the basic techniques, and this time I have 8 techniques, and one of them is now the blind hem. That doesn't mean that you can't use the blind hem on the other fabric, the woven light. It's just their recommendation to not do that function on a woven light fabric. So like I mentioned, the sew-on button foot is is a great foot and technique. So I'm just going to go into that quickly. And it's going to say, do you have the right presser foot on? And I'm just going to say, sure I do. So you're going to scroll through again. Tells you the materials you need. Now the video will show you, mark where your button's going to go. And now you're going to use your multi-purpose tool to place the button in the place that you need, and you're going to tape down your button. And then it's going to go in to putting your foot on the machine and putting your fabric underneath. So you can keep going and learn how to use the sew-on button foot. Very useful. When my kids were younger, I couldn't even sew, so I would have loved to have a machine with a sew-on button foot, because then, my husband wouldn't have to do it for them. All right, so I'm going to go back out to the home function again. And then in here also, if you go to quilting, there's quilting tutorials in here for doing a straight stitch quilting design or stitch in the ditch. It tells you about those functions. All right, so I'm going to go back to sewing, and I'm going to pick my fabric that I'm going to use, because the machine will then be very smart and help me know what I need to use to do that function. So I'm going to say, I'm going to do an overcast stitch, medium woven overcast stitch, and I'm going to get rid of this. But what it's telling me is here that medium woven fabric, I'm going to use a needle, an 80 needle. My stitch is an overcast stitch, and this is the IDF function, so you need to make sure you have your IDF engaged. And here's the J foot, and see that it's cut out right there? That also is an indicator. That also is an indicator that you can have your IDF function turned on. Okay, so now I'm going to go into one of the exclusive stitches within the machine. So that is dimensional stitches. I'm going to select the applique stitches. Okay, I'm going to close. This would give me information about how to do an applique stitch. Now I'm going to pick the applique design that I'm going to do. I'll pick a heart for Valentine's Day. And now it says my woven medium, an 80 needle. This is my stitch, which is selected over here. And now it's telling me I need the S foot, and I need to put stabilizer under this function, which makes sense because you don't want your fabric to be moving around while you're doing applique. And then you'll be ready to start sewing. Just like we had it on the screen, the JoyOS Advisor app that you get from the App Store, you would put in search Husqvarna Viking JoyOS, and then you'll be able to download the application to your iPad or your phone. Just like I selected the applique stitches, I can scroll through the instructions on how to do that. This is a great app because you can be doing this on your machine and have your instructions off to the side. You can do it at the same time without having to have the tutorial on the top of your screen. So this is a great app. We will talk more about it when we go through and do a more specific function and show you how to sew it out. Okay, so this is my demo, my Friday's features of the JoyOS function. Come back and see next week, Fridays at 10 a.m. Thank you for joining. Let me know what you think of the function by commenting below. Thanks.